Hello, everyone. We are on Blackbird Writers on Substack TV, and I just asked Valerie to join, and I know she can see me, and I see her there, and I see her in the chat. And so the beauty of technical issues, so I may have to log off and log back on, but hopefully we'll get Valerie on here quickly. So I'm waiting for Val to join. Tracy Phillips will not be with us today, so it's like when the cat's away, the mice will have technical difficulties. Hi, Lori Buchanan. Hi, Roxanne. We are waiting. Tracy's not with us today, and I'm waiting for Val to join somehow, but I may have to log off and then log back on. So, but I have asked her to join. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, she's invited. So let's see. Val, if you can hear me, try to go into your profile and then accept. Oh, there you are. Oh, there you are.
So sorry.
Yay.
Hi.
Yay. Glad to see you.
I was trying to join from my computer. It was acting up. So here I am on my phone. That's fine.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, so you just clicked join then or accept the invitation?
I clicked join. I tried to do the accept the information with my computer, and it was just sort of sitting in preview mode. I was a little bit locked out. So, hey, we'll go with it. This is fine. I'm glad you can see the big screen, though, because you can see who's joining. So I will have to ask you to put things in chat because I am somehow in limbo on my laptop. But all right.
Okay. Great. Well, I'm glad you're here. So here we are. We've got wonderful Lori with us and Roxanne. Thank you for joining.
We're keeping it real, aren't we, with technical difficulties? But yes, we're here.
The beauty of live. But we've got a fun show for you today, and we're so glad you're here. And this is Blackbird Writers on Substack TV, where it's just a fun place to be, where we can talk about what's up with the flock, and then some industry news, and then sharing our favorite things for the week. So. Here we are. So welcome to Blackbird Writers on Substack TV. Real writers talking about their mystery novels. As we say, no AI, just alibis. I'm TK Sheffield, and I write stories for readers to laugh and escape. Funny mysteries set in Wisconsin. With me are my co-hosts, Valerie Beal and Tracy S. Phillips. Tracy is off this week. She writes suspense thrillers with fierce women who face their shadow side. She's the founder of Blackbird Writers, a group of 25 mystery authors who flock together, share each other's news, and help each other navigate the publishing landscape. We love authors' willingness to share in this community, and that's why we're here. Val, take it away.
Oh, we have some fun news from some of our fellow Blackbird writers.
Well, wait a minute. Tell us who you are. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm supposed to introduce myself. Okay.
Yes.
I'm Valerie Beal. I write fantasy novels and mystery for readers, probably I would say age 10 and up, because I have a middle grade novel out as well. I'm also thank you. You're already always with the props. Thank you. I appreciate that. I also am a book marketing professional and publicity professional. And I came to that with books because that was my previous career before I started to write full time. So that's my, mini bio.
Shameless plug for Val. Wisconsin is so lucky to have her. She has boosted so many author careers in our state, and we are so fortunate to have you working with us. So
it's fun. I was thinking about that this week. So I am recently back from vacation, and I missed everybody. I missed hanging out with writers. So I've had a lot of discussions this week with people just catching up on their book marketing and where we're headed next with ads or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I like this. This is fun. This is fun.
I'm glad. So. I'm glad to hear. Same. I had an interview on an author show this week, and it'll be posted later. But the question was, tell us about your books and what have you learned about publishing. And I said, I love to publish books and I love to write funny stories, but you learn it's about the people you meet along the way.
Yes. Yeah.
It really, really is.
It is. And
go ahead.
I'm saying I very much agree with that.
Yeah. Between the bookstore owners, the writers, the groups you join, the beta readers, the editors, you just find just sparkling, wonderful, great people. So anyway, tell us.
Yeah, it's a generous community. It's a generous community, and part of that for us too, because we're both obviously why we're here on the Blackbird, Substack, is that we're both members of Blackbird. So every week we want to give a shout out to people who have some news that are members of our group. So Joy Rybar, her Shakespeared in the Park, her titles are also witty, is a Chanticleer Award finalist for the Mystery and Mayhem Award. And she says she's pretty stoked about that. She did an interview with New York Times bestselling author Debbie Mack on the Cozy Crime Cafe. And TK, if you can throw that link into the chat, because I am handicapped today on my phone. I don't know. We're going to figure the tech stuff out, I swear. Carl Vondero, this month, he says he's building up his podcast for nonfiction crime books. I haven't had time to listen to this yet, but it's called Persons of Interest, and it's part of the Authors on the Air network. So he says he's looking forward to interviewing someone from the UK about the biggest financial scam in UK history. And he says this was Autonomy, the company that purchased Hewlett-Packard, and then they later wrote down their investment by several $billion. Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. He says he's also appearing with several authors at Noir in the Bar at the Kensington Club in San Diego on Saturday, March 7th. So tomorrow. And he's deep into revising his manuscript for a thriller occurring in 1969 in Cleveland. So that'll be interesting.
What do you think about this, the whole retro storytelling vibe that everybody wants to, same thing with like clothing. Everybody is dressing like they're in the 90s again. What do you think about that?
I'm sorry, did I ever quit dressing like I was in the 90s? I'm not sure. I actually was going through my closet. You know how when you come home from vacation and things are a bit jumbled, and I haven't really organized that, but I was pulling things out and I'm like, oh, holy shoulder pads.
Oh my goodness.
So I have kept some of my first suits.
Yes, which I still have. I was at Divine Design in Brookfield earlier this week. It's this wonderful upscale resale event. It's the biggest in Wisconsin for women and teens. And the nicest element of it is if it doesn't sell, the people who donate their clothes can choose to have them donated at the end of the sale to charity groups. So it's all in all great, you upcycle clothing, keeping things out of landfills, affordable prices. It's just all overall great vibes. But anyway, I had to go through the business section because this time they had racks of these great power suits from the 80s, bright colors with the big shoulder pads. It was just fun. Yeah, Lori,
Lori said that holy shoulder pads. Those haven't come back yet, though, right? The shoulder pads.
Well, they're kind of having a moment from what I have seen. Although fashion these days is sort of everything goes, and I'm happy with it because as long as it's sequins involved, I'm good with anything.
Yeah, I can't say that my business suits from the early 90s involved sequins, but I graduated from college in 1990, so throw that out there. So yeah, lots of very linebacker kind of.
Well, the vibe though when I'm watching on the older shows, I just get like the Miami Vice is having this whole moment.
Yeah, they are. Sorry,
reels and media and everything else, but somebody should just rewrite it. They should put it still in the same era and give us more stories like those because they were just. Intriguing and funny. But one more announcement. So you went through everybody's announcements, right?
No, I didn't. I missed Sharon Lynn. So let me mention Sharon Lynn. Sharon Lynn has her 4th book coming out in the Cotswold Crimes mystery series, Death Takes a Night. It is a mix of King Arthur, Knight of the Round Table type stuff with chess. So Death Takes a Night makes sense. It's available for pre-order now. It launches releases on March 31. Let me just read the quick description about her Maddie McGuire books. So these are all set obviously in the Cotswolds. Her protagonist is a 19-year-old archaeology intern. So When Maddie McGuire lands an archaeology internship at the Roman baths in England, she assumes everything will go her way. But when this college sophomore discovers a severed human ear on her doorstep, she must solve its meaning before she becomes the next victim, or worse, gets deported. Her tentative friendship with a young constable,
Oh,
Edward
no.
Bailey, and the beauty of the Bath Abbey are no comfort as her aristocratic coworker, Simon Paycock, that just sounds like a kind of mean name, doesn't it? Sabotages her every move, and the danger only increases when she discovers a dead body with both ears intact. But that's the description for book one, but you can see how this rolls, right? So she says also that Level Best Books has extended this series to nine total books.
Oh,
And book four is
congratulations,
the one that's
Karen.
coming out. Yeah, congrats to her. Big deal, right? I love it. So there's some links there that we'll share. If you can please share those into the chat. If you want to pre-order that book or check her out on Substack, she's got a Substack as well. So
Yes.
I'm excited to read that book. That is on my to-do list for the weekend to read that book. So.
Oh, nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. Yes, I've got links in the chat. And then when this goes out, we'll also can add them to the show notes. But
Sounds good.
congratulations, everybody. And Sharon has a great podcast too, doesn't she? Have a video.
Yeah, she's got so much going on, and she does a lot of the interviews for the Blackbirds too.
Yes, she does.
So
She's hilariously funny. She's got this great dry sense of humor, and so she's just really fun to talk to. And we've got Terry Karsten has joined us. Terry, she's a Wisconsin author and a fabulous editor, and she has submitted articles to Killer Nashville magazine, and she's just a wonderful historical mystery writer. So thank you, Terry. We're glad to have you here. And Jeff Carter, thank you for joining. Lovely to see you. And, the more we can share the news and wealth around Wisconsin and beyond is wonderful. I have one thing for me to add. I've got I host a Saturday morning author chat show called the Whispresso Cafe, produced by the Wisconsin Writers Association. And on March 21st, 10 a.m. Central, I will be interviewing the really fun ladies from Cozy Mystery Party on Facebook. And it's got 6,000 or 7,000 members, and it's a hoot, and they're a hoot. And finally, I get to turn the tables. Usually they're out talking to authors, and I get to turn the tables and interview them. So it's Sean and Heather from Cozy Mystery Party on Facebook, and it's going to be a party. So March 21st.
It will be a party.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me again the date. I talked over you. March 21st?
March 21st, 10 a.m. Central, Cozy Takeover on Espresso Cafe with Heather Doyle Harrison and Sean Stevens. And it'll be fun. We'll be fun. It'll just be chatty and fun and talking about books and mysteries and parties.
Yes, exactly. A good combination, always. I should mention too, another member of the Blackbird Writers has his book is now a finalist for the Chanticleer Gertrude Warner Award. That is a middle grade award over there at Chanticleer, and that's Tim Chapman's book Outcasts. So I'm not positive. I know that the announcements coming up, I think those are all in April, a little bit later in the month, for who's the winner in that category. So we'll find out.
Congratulations, everyone. I have a short story in the short story category that's a finalist, and we'll see where it goes. I'm just happy to be in the finals. I miss
for sure.
Mention, I'll take it.
Yeah, we've got that going on, right? Where you're like, and Chanticleer is kind of interesting because some of the awards just say, okay, here are the winners and here are the runners up, or whatever. But they do this like long list, short list, semifinalists, finalists, and you're just like clicking and you're hoping you're still there on the list,
I know. They do drag it out a little bit agonizing.
What are you going to do? Yeah, but that's all the news I've got today. Is there anything else that you have newsy?
No, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put Terry Karsten's website in the chat so everybody knows who Terry is.
And Terry has some wonderful historical fiction books that I just adore. I hope, Terry, you are busy writing the follow-up to your latest book, because I really want to know what happens.
Me too. I met Terry in a critique group for WWA, and oh my gosh, we always love it when an editor's in the group, because You get all this, in addition to just story feedback, you get other feedback too. Anyway, so on to industry news, about 11:15. So like we said, we talk
good.
about what's happening in the Blackbirds, and then we go on to industry news. So, Terry said, thank you. The sequel will be called A Player's Exit. And when does that come out, Terry? Let us know when that comes out. So, and then I have Terry's link there in the chat. So, okay, so industry news. Last week, we talked about AI. Last couple weeks, we've been talking about AI, and I just want to give a follow-up just so everybody knows that Authors Guild expands its human authored certification program. So, the Authors Guild has announced it expanded its human authored certification program beyond its own membership to any author whose books are published in the U.S. And this is an article from Publishers Weekly, and I will put that in the chat to read on if you have questions about that. So, just an FYI, they're trying to promote the human authored concept. And I'm going to put this article from Publishers Weekly. I'll just paste it right into the chat. So whoever wants to read that can do that. But on to the topic of the day, which is labeling books.
Like rating books. Not like as in 5 stars or whatever, but rating book content.
There is a topic of interest to everyone. And it is, there's this idea to rate young adult YA novels to help parents better understand the level of mature content, such as profanity, explicit sexual situations, violence, or other potentially concerning themes. And I don't write YA, I write cozy. So, and that's no sex, no politics, no violence, no bad language. And that's that's what I prefer to read, although it's, I will move into some traditional, which has that, it's not that I'm or anything. It's just what I prefer to read. And so what I expect when I open up a cozy. So I thought I would throw the question out to you, though, with the YA idea. And you said you did have thoughts about it.
I do. I have a lot of thoughts about it. So typically what you've got, say you're in a library and you're in the young adult section, you're going to have this huge range, right? You're going to have things from, very sweet YA that has no swearing, no sexual situations, that isn't on a difficult, tough topic even, all the way to things that may feel like adult topics. But we have to remember that, the reason something is in the young adult category or is labeled that way is the age of the protagonist. And as a writer of YA, I think we have to remember that that's the designation, not the content necessarily. And if we want to be maybe good stewards of this, if we are writing edgier YA, I was thinking too that a suggestion could be is just have it be author generated, where you would put perhaps trigger warnings. I see some romance novels that I read that will say, there is a pregnancy loss in this book. There is some violence. There is an attempted rape. There is, very serious issues. And if you're in a position where you do not want to read that book because you're for any reason whatsoever, you're staying away from those issues, I think that that's a helpful thing. So for the YA, I always get a little worried about policing things, right? Who gets to police things? But I think if it's a simple, this is just what's in this book. Of course, we've got a lot of difficulties right now with books being banned. And that, so it always makes me a little worried about the gatekeepers and who the gatekeepers might be. I do think we need tough topic books for kids.
Right. You have this one as a tough topic book for kids.
It is. And hey, you and I were at the bookstore together the day that grandparents came in, and I've told the story on my Substack, post before. Grandparents came in looking for books for their granddaughters, and I knew what they were looking for. And in the end, we found them. We were at Literatus bookstore, right, in Watertown. But the grandfather visibly cringed when I explained that that book you just held up dealt with the issue of domestic abuse, of violence in the home. And then a half hour later or less, a young man came through. He's waiting for his drink order because there's a cafe in there. And he read pretty much the back cover copy of all our books, right? And then he kept coming back and he said, how did he put it? I lived this story. And there you have it. This is why we need kids to be able to see themselves in story if they have a hard thing happening in their life. And we also need to build empathy with audiences when there are difficult things that they may not have been exposed to, but they can read about them and experience, the ability to understand that other people's lives, may be different than the one that they're living too. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, you label yours like in a way so that people know that there's no like what's your phrase? You have a
I
nice
just say,
phrase.
hashtag clean reads. And then I put in no sex, no politics, no violence, no bad language, and
Yeah.
that's not that I won't there, I have some story, a short story, for example, with a bad word in it in some, another context. But it's not that I'm against that. It's just I write what I prefer to read, and remember my tolerance level for scariness equates to the Charlie Brown pumpkin patch with the pumpkin rising out of the pumpkin patch. That's as scared as I want to be, right? So, and I think it comes. I'm not kidding you. I think it comes from childhood trauma because I'm in I think seventh grade. No, I was younger. I think it was fifth grade. I went to the Halloween night at the high school, and they had Tales from the Crypt, and it was so gory. I remember walking home just clinging to my sister going like, What did I just see?" And I was just totally traumatized. And I think that's where it comes from, that I don't wanna be surprised by blood. It's mostly the violence and gore that I do not want to see or read about.
Right. Right.
So I think that's where it comes from. So I
Well,
just appreciate, and, when you think about search terms, because these days they always say you get 2 to 3 seconds for someone to look at a cover or to read a blurb, and I would think you would want to be as clear in that as possible so that
mhm,
whoever wants to read that particular story knows what they're getting. I would think,
right.
but
Right. Well, and then on the other side of things, so my YA murder mystery or suspense has I didn't count the F bombs, but I was like, and I was hesitant, right? I'm writing it, but you find your dad's dead body, like,
you're gonna
in a
say something.
cemetery, you're not going to be saying, "Aw, shucks," you know. I was balancing teenage authenticity, with not being completely obnoxious, right? About like the swearing because that's not good either.
But,
But
that's to me, as a parent, I'm thinking about a parent picking up books or a grandparent picking up books. I would like to know, okay, yes, there's a little bit of profanity in it. Okay.
yep,
That to me, I'm like, okay, as long as I know, then I know what I'm
right,
getting. When
right.
I watch, when I watch TV or I'm watching something, there's always, okay, profanity or some kind of clue as to what's in this particular movie that I'm going to watch. Yeah, I
Sure.
appreciate that.
Well, and I think back to sort of the library scenario where, the books are all mixed in there. And I think of Ellen Hopkins. Ellen Hopkins writes some very edgy young adult novels. And they're amazing because they're written in verse. And, you start to read them. And I would just love to know how her brain works because writing in verse is a completely different skill set, right? And you kind of forget you're reading in verse because you get so into the characters. But she's edgier. And I think that this kind of circles back to parents. If you have a kid that you really want to know what they're reading, read with them.
Yeah.
And you check out, hang out and read with them. And if you're worried about content, then read first. And before. My parents did not care. I mean, I don't know. I'm the youngest of six. I think they were tired. I don't know.
I was the youngest of 3. Right, so they let me go to Tales from the Crypt. Go!
No, I'm just thinking about like how there wasn't a lot of YA back then and like geared toward teens and I'm reading like Flowers in the Attic from the high school library. Like
Judy Blume. I remember checking out Judy Blume. That was as racy as it got.
well, and she's still getting banned. I mean, those books are still on the ban list. So, I mean, I guess I'm vacillating, but I just really think that, authors should self-report what they want to report. Like if you put some trigger warnings in there just so that you're caring for your reader, right?
That makes sense. So
And
on
I think
that
that
note,
yeah.
on that note, We're going to talk about favorite things. Again, this is Blackbird Writers on Substack TV. No AI, just alibis, where we share ideas and events from the Blackbirds, and then we talk about a little bit about industry news, and then we go into our favorite things. So Val, go right ahead. You got some favorite
Okay,
things?
so I have three favorite things. I am binging it's new to me. It's probably been out a while. The Paradise TV show on Hulu. And it is a dystopian futuristic world, but mixed with political intrigue. So right up my alley. I hope there's other people out there who are fans of that, or if you're not, if you like the idea of that, head on over to Hulu. And then I have been doing a lot of work as I'm catching up from being gone for ads on ads for authors, and I've been using the heck out of my Publisher Rocket program. That is a program that helps you get keywords and position books well for advertising. It comes out from Dave Chesson, so the Kindlepreneur website. And then my final favorite thing is, I already mentioned them once, is the Literatus bookstore in Watertown, Wisconsin. My favorite bookstore. They do such a nice job, one, curating the selection of books and gifts in their store, but also how they interface with the indie author community. They are just top notch. And I love supporting them. So those are my
Yeah.
favorite things.
Yes, and I need to put their website in the chat. Yes, Literatus, it's located in Watertown, Wisconsin. And what I really, really love is when you go to their website and if their job, like if you want to apply it for a job there, it's called, they're they're funny and they're charming and they just look at things differently like a writer would. And
Yes.
when you go there, it's a beehive. It's just an absolute beehive of people coming in for coffee and meeting for book club chats.
Mhm.
They host authors all the time.
Yes.
Have this wonderful third floor now where you can go up. Hopefully the Blackbirds will be up there doing something, talking about books or something. So I put the Literatus in the chat. That's in
Good.
Watertown.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a beautiful space. And that third floor, I'm dying to have an event there. Think big, chunky library tables and like a few like used bookshelves up there. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Great space.
But so I have two favorite things this time. So, whenever I need a pick me up or whenever I just need a break or anything, I go to Sendik's Home, which is a great grocery store near us. And they have this home section, and it's like going into a department store, a mini department. They always have something new, and it's beautifully curated. Well, I found a book club towel that says, "Where pages are turned, the wine is poured, and the plot is only sometimes discussed." So
that sounds about right.
No argument there. And then another thing, and Laura Buchanan, you're going to love this one. Walking makes you more creative, because Lori walks, I think it's 5 to 6 miles a day between all her writing and all her social media posting, which is just, she just is always on with it. And then she gets all her exercise in too. So Daniel Pink says the research on walking is unbelievable. There's a famous study where they put people in a chair and they put people on a treadmill and they do alternative uses for an object test. Basically, you give someone something mundane like a brick and ask, how many different uses can you think of for this brick? You can use it as a doorstop, stepladder, paperweight. The people who are walking on the treadmill generated 3 times as many ideas as the people sitting in a chair. So, yes. Yes. And this was just on a treadmill in a laboratory. So just think what you can do outside in the sunshine, listening to the birds and looking at something beautiful, even if it's, just the sky. So,
well, that's a good hint. Get out of your chairs, people, today and get a walk in.
So thank you for joining, Tracy. We missed you. Have a wonderful time. She's visiting family, and we will be back next Friday at 11 o'clock Central Time to chat with you about news from the nest and industry news and our favorite things. So take care, everyone.
Excellent.